Well, thank you guys so much. When I received the message, I was like, really? Me? You want to hear me? I'm like, okay. So I'm very humbled and very excited to be here. As she said, I am Chandra from Waymakers Floral. This is not how it started out. I first came to Ben and was like, hey, I've had people come to me and they want to do, and this was kind of like during COVID, kind of tail end of COVID. And I was like, a lot of people are wanting to do wedding rentals because they're not having the big ceremonies because a lot of people can't come. And so it started off, I built a website. I had 6 or 7 collections of silk flowers that people could rent and I could like ship them out. So we're getting to like the tail end of it. And I get this Facebook message saying, hey, where is your brick and mortar? And I'm like, I don't have a brick and mortar. So I was kind of like, oh, well, I don't, it's my house. And so the next thing I know, I get a message back and it says, well, we are looking to retire. This is Kitty with Grand Flowers, and we want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe like a collaboration thing, you know, something. So go in and talk to them, and they were like, we want somebody to take this business that will love our customers and take care of them like we have. And we've seen you on Facebook. We've seen different things you've done. We've seen your work with, it's not Marry Me. Oh my gosh. Affairs to Remember. Goodness gracious. Because I did weddings for her. And they were like, we like your style. We like your attitude. And we would like for you to buy our business. And they're like, we're not putting it on the open market. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like this is going from like an online thing, set at home, ship things out, to like brick and mortar, phone calls. I'm like, I knew nothing about how to, I knew how to arrange flowers, but learning what I needed for the week to order in flowers and all the things. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to go, I'm just going to go all in. And so called Ben up and I was like, okay, change of direction. Please help me. So we sat down, we started building a proposal and kind of jumped through a couple of different banks to find the right one. That's kind of the back history of it. I've been in a year. January 5th was my 1-year anniversary. So now we're rolling into Valentine's, of course. And it has definitely had lots of ups and downs. I have definitely had to learn to budget because there is a big swing in my industry. Summers are really, really slow. Winters are fairly high. And so learning how to know when to transition to not get as many flowers so I'm not eating into my profit, and knowing when to like ramp back up. So that's been a big part of my year, just like learning how to adjust on the fly. There's a lot of adjusting on the fly. But thank goodness I have found several different distributors that come on like different days of the week that I can like call up and say, hey, I need you to send me this. So that has helped a lot. My other biggest thing this year is, to me, it's all about like that experience when they come in the door. We don't have a whole lot of foot traffic, which we hope to change in the future. But even over the phone, like that experience over the phone is just as important as that face-to-face experience, because if your voice comes across where you're just in a hurry and you just want to get off the phone, you want to get on to your next thing, they can definitely tell that. And I have had so many people come back to us and say, you were just so helpful. Thank you for taking the time to listen to what I needed and, to follow through with, whatever it was that they were needing. The other thing, too, is I had never dealt with funerals. That has been a learning experience. My first funeral was actually up at Miller's Stall in Newkirk. And I'm, of course, carrying in this big oak casket spray, and I'm walking in, and he goes, okay, just put it in around the corner on top of the casket. Not a problem. So I'm carrying it. I walk, and I turn the corner. I was totally not prepared for that casket to be wide open. I was like, and then walked away. But now it's just become part of every day. But building those relationships with the funeral homes has been extremely important for us because we do a lot of funerals. And that actually, when I got into this, it was really for the weddings. But as the year has evolved, I have really learned that I love the funerals. And the reason why is because the families come in. I've kind of, in my shop, I've made like a comfy sitting area for them. We're not just sitting at a table like we're doing book work. It's like they can come in and sit down and they can look through the books. But just getting to learn the customer, learn about their loved one that had passed, and just feeling the emotions with them. And it's kind of strange, I guess, maybe. But it's amazing to me how much that piece they think about and put their family member, in that piece. I mean, we've had ones that are from like a hunting theme where we actually put antlers in that came from like one of the deer that their dad shot. We've put buckshots in there. We've put gardening tools in them. And it just, that's like the last memory. That's kind of the final piece. And it's just amazing how many come back into the store and they're like, I just want to say thank you. That helped me to get closure. So that has kind of become one of my favorite parts. The other thing is going into the future, and especially being downtown, we would really like to start carrying more gift selections, more stuff like that up in the front of the store. That way people can pop in and, find something different and unique. So if you guys have any suggestions of what that might be, I'm trying to figure this out because I also am trying to be very conscious of, the stores that are around me because I don't want to carry the same things that they do, So like Merrick has, the jewelry, so I don't really want to do jewelry. And then, the cast iron, they have a lot of the food stuff. So just trying to kind of figure out what my niche would be. So if you guys have any direction on that, that would be absolutely great. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know.
Just open it up to questions?
Yeah, sure.
Any questions?
Sure.
Chandra?
Yes, ma'am.
What percentage of your business is still rental? Because when we did your ribbon cutting, I really didn't even know
Yeah.
you were there that you did the rental.
Yes. So it's very, very slim now. It's maybe 5-10%. Yeah, it's all pretty much has completely flipped to fresh flowers. Yep.
Have you thought about doing any subscription services for maybe cut flowers for people to pick up every week or every month?
Yes. So last summer, to try to help my sales during the summer since it's really slow, we did do some subscriptions. I think I had like 10. A couple were every week and a couple were every other week. But I don't know if it was just my marketing that it didn't like pick up and go. So that's one thing I do need to kind of toy around with a little more, because I think definitely that there's potential there.
Summer, we'll talk.
Okay.
I'm talking to another group about, I'm talking to a lot of people about subscriptions.
Oh, okay.
So I'd love to talk to you about that.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And you had a question?
Yes, I just wanted to, I was going to ask the very same thing about what Kat asked. We have a standing order with Waymaker to deliver flowers to my mother-in-law, who will be 101 at the end of this month.
Oh my gosh.
At Eucharistes, every 2 weeks. She
Yes.
has a great
Yes.
and you know, it's a gift coming in the door for her
Mhm.
every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Actually, it was Paul Hadley that gave me the idea years ago.
Oh, okay.
Because Paul would have a standing order.
Yes, he does.
Terry to
Yep.
give Flora flowers. I thought, what a great idea.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Why are we talking? Exactly.
Yes.
he's out for his mom now, so that's
Yes.
it works out beautifully. So I
Yeah.
highly recommend being able to do that. People don't want to give people in nursing homes accept lotions and candy and
Right.
down the road.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And we have a couple of churches that we do their flowers every week. Like that's just a standing thing that we do. And Grace Episcopal, we do theirs every week. And they actually, they bring us a book and they tell us exactly what days they want flowers and to go along with their religious pieces. They tell us like if there's a certain color, and they just put it in the book and they're like, okay, here it is. And we're like, all right. That is one thing that the guys did that I have definitely carried through is, especially for like businesses and churches, we have in the schools, we have like house accounts where we can just bill them at the end of the month, which is really beneficial for the businesses and so forth. So, and we do that with Danny as well. So, yes, ma'am.
How did you come up with Waymakers?
So, the song Waymakers, and truly, it has been a God thing. I mean, it really, really has, and you know, he's made the way. So that's where I came up with it. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What can our community do to help support you?
So, I mean, and I've heard Kevin say this 1,000 times, shop local. And then you guys all know this. But really it is just word of mouth. Like if you've gotten something from me, you know, and you loved it, just telling your friend that's looking for flowers, oh, go see Chandra, go down to Waymakers. Because truly, you can do all the advertising in the world, but the word of mouth is so much more powerful. And I am going to put this plug in. Please do not order from 1-800-Flowers or Ava's Flowers or any of them because they rip us off. They rip the local florist off because, yeah.
If I were, no, but if I wanted something sent to my mom.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
can I do it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we can wire it out directly. Yep. Yep.
That's the best thing.
Yes, because when you go through like 1-800-Flowers, so my dozen roses this year, because roses have gone up, is $85. Ava's Flowers is trying to get me to sell them for $64 without delivery. So I am literally making $5 by the time I do my vase and time and everything. And so many people just don't know that. So yeah, so if you have your mom's in Edmond, you can reach out to us and we can work directly with the florist in that area. Absolutely, yeah.
So the location where my business is at used to be a flower shop. So sometimes I get people in last minute, like, my wedding's this morning,
my Lord. How do you forget that? But it has happened.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you're close, like, can I give them your number? Because, you know,
Yeah.
I get random people in all the time looking for flowers and
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of another thing. So about 6 months in, we decided to close on Saturdays. So we are closed on weekends. And the reason for that is it is amazing how many funerals are on Mondays. So that for us means we have to go in, as soon as our flowers get in on Sunday, we have to go in and we have to work. So depending on what's going on, if I have a wedding, I'm gone on Saturday. Or if we have a funeral on Monday, I'm working Sunday. So a lot of people are like, oh, you're not open on Saturday. I'm like, but you have to understand, I have to have a balance. I have 2 girls. I have a family. My people that work for me, they have families. We have got to have a day to just kind of catch up around the house and, you know, have some family time. Because the last year, I definitely feel like I have lived in the flower shop. So I'm really hoping I don't have to bring cots in for Valentine's, but hey, do what I got to do. Does anybody else have any questions?
You do like prom flowers and
Yep, we do weddings, we do funerals, we do everyday flowers, we do corsages, boutonnieres, we do wrapped bouquets. So yeah. Yep. And we do work with, my main flowers do come from like Wichita and Oklahoma City, but I've also worked with Sewn and Pedal to the Metal, which are some of our local farms. Love working with those guys. Love keeping it as much local as I possibly can. And then there's one that's called Bear Creek that we work with out of Stillwater. So, yeah. So I like staying around as much as possible because I just feel like it just makes it even more. So, yeah.